Hi everyone, I'm Imogen from Course Report. We are a resource for researching which coding bootcamp is right for you. We have a directory of different coding schools, a blog, and interviews with founders, instructors, and students, all to help you work out which bootcamp you want to go to. So today I'm speaking with Hackbright Academy student Stacey Carter, who's going to tell us a bit about her background and demo one of her favorite projects for us. She's going to share her screen with us so we can see exactly how it works and how she built it. So Stacey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So maybe we could start and you could tell me a bit about your kind of career and education background and how your path kind of led you to go to Hackbright Academy.
Yeah, for sure. It's a bit of a weird one. So I'm a veterinarian, which is quite a leap into coding. About halfway through vet school, I met my husband at vet school and he left to go pursue software engineering. And I've kind of had my eyes on him ever since then, watching what he's doing. He's been absolutely loving it. And I started trying to dabble with it, making little tools to help me at work. Like I made a little thing to calculate rabbit anesthesia emergency drugs. I made a little puppy vaccination protocol generator in JavaScript. And I found out that I really, really enjoyed it. So recently I decided to make the leap and join Hackbright and try and make it my full-time thing. And hopefully one day in the future I can keep making veterinary software to help other vets at work too.
It's such a cool way to get into it, just like building your own little projects to begin with. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what made you choose Hackbright specifically as a way to learn these skills? Like, did you consider other boot camps or going back to college or maybe like just continuing to teach yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I thought about all of those things. I thought about going back to university just because I thought, well, I'm really into getting degrees. But after spending 6 years at university already, I really kind of wanted to stay in the workforce and make the change as quickly as possible. So that's how I decided that I really wanted to do a boot camp, and I'd just rather really study really hard and try and get into it as quickly as possible. So I started researching boot camp, and I actually had a friend who went to Hackbright for the prep course. And she had amazing things to say about it. So I decided to apply. I liked the tech stack. I thought Python seemed appealing. It allowed me to play in data, allowed me to play with machine learning. So I thought that's great. And through the interview process, everyone was so nice. And I really liked the supportive atmosphere. I liked that I was able to the prospect of forming like a network of women who are coding and going through the career change thing all at the same time. So that's how I really decided on Hackbright over some of the other boot camps. And also Course Report was helpful in that too.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear it. It's great to get feedback. Cool. And so once you decided on a Hackbright Academy and you applied, what was the application and interview process like to get in?
Yeah, so I had like a behavioral interview first where we just chatted and I got to ask questions about what it was like to actually go to Hackbright. That got me really excited and I was like, all right, I'm going to book my technical interview for 2 weeks' time. And then I just studied technical questions until then, had the technical interview, passed that, obviously. And then, yeah, that was the admissions process. It was really smooth. I did it from Australia as well. That was very easy.
That's awesome. So did you actually move to the States to go to Hackbright?
No, weird story. I moved to the States originally, and I was working as a veterinarian over here, and I went back home for a little bit and then applied for Hackbright when I was coming back over.
That makes sense. Cool. And then once you started the program, I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about your cohort, like how many people are there in it, and is it quite diverse in terms of like backgrounds and race and so on?
Yeah. I think that's one of the best things about Hackbright is the people that you get to meet. Like the people in my cohort are just the best. They're amazing. I've met some really cool people there. I think it's 26 in our cohort. It's quite a big one, but it's been amazing to meet people from all sorts of different backgrounds. Like some people have come from a social work background, from like financial background, from journalism background. So there's all sorts of different things, from the health industry as well. It's been really fun getting to know people from such different backgrounds, and everyone has such different reasons of why they're here, but also kind of similar in a way, which is nice too.
That's so cool. And are you doing the full-time in-person program?
I am, yeah.
Awesome. And then what was the actual learning experience like? Like maybe you could tell me a little bit about like a typical day and the sort of teaching style they have there.
Yeah, for sure. So during the first half of the program, it's pretty lecture heavy. So we have an hour and a half lecture in the morning. Then we go into a lab and we do pair programming. So we have like an exercise that we do, and we get assigned to different partners every day, which is really good for meeting new people and getting to know different people. And also getting to know different working styles, because everyone works so differently. So we do that for the first half of the day, then we get a lunch break, then we come back for an afternoon lecture and another pair programming lab session. We also have like career sessions throughout each week. We also have like check-ins to make sure everyone's doing okay and not too overwhelmed, and talk about feelings. So that's really nice too. During the later half of the course, it ends up being more project heavy. So we've been working on projects for the last, I think, 4 or 5 weeks now, where we'd have a lecture in the morning, which is more computer science focused, or more about like Google Maps or other tools we might want to use in our projects. So we just have that one lecture, and then the rest of the day is usually working on projects, or towards the end of the course, you do a bit of like whiteboarding and interview prep as well. And we've recently switched again out of project season and back into more career focused things. So for this week and next week, it's more all about like getting jobs, interviews, and really prepping us for that stage of the journey.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah, it sounds like a very comprehensive curriculum.
Yeah, it's been really good.
And so can you tell me about your favorite project? Maybe you can kind of give me a little intro to it, and then share your screen.
Yeah, for sure. So my favorite project, my baby, is definitely the project that I've been working on for the last 5 weeks. It's called VetCalc. It's a dose calculator and social network for the veterinary industry, where users can save, share, and calculate drug doses. And I imagine, from my experience, I think this would save them about 5 hours a week in time, and obviously reduce medical mistakes as well. So that's what I'm going to show you today. Is that working?
Yay.
Awesome. Okay, so this is the landing page. It's just, it's pretty basic, but we've got some advertising on there. My favorite part is when you click this and reload the page, you get a random photo every time. I had a lot of fun choosing these. So you can either sign up or log in. I'm going to log into my account. Very secure password here. So when you log in, you get redirected straight to your profile page. And on your profile page is where you've got all your saved drug doses. So any drugs that you use a lot, or you have a bunch of different doses for different species, or you've got like complex doses, maybe you only prescribe them like once every few months. I think those are the most helpful drugs to have here. So these are all the drug doses that I've saved myself. Please don't use them, they're not real. And then you can also save doses from other people. So maybe if you know of a vet who's a specialist in, say, kidney disease, then maybe you want to save their preferred drug doses for their kidney stuff. So you can save that from them, and then it tells you like who you've saved it from. So I've saved this one from my horse Barty. And you can go to their profile and check it out. So let's jump back onto my page. So from here, say you need to get to a drug really quickly. If you're about to prescribe it, you can search for it. So if you want to search for meloxicam, then it will come up here, or maybe this one. So the search is pretty quick. I used a try, which is a data structure, really good for autocomplete for this. And then you can jump into, say, the drug that you want, you haven't saved it under your profile, or you don't have a preferred dose that you've saved for it. You can come back to the drug page here, and this has a bunch of drugs saved to it. So you can quickly search through what you want here. So say we want this one. We can just click on that. It'll take us to this page. And this is our textbook dose for the drug. These are randomly generated at the moment because I tried to scrape the online textbook for this, and it was extremely difficult. It's very human readable, but not very machine readable. So instead, I had to randomly generate these. I'm planning to change this in the future. But in theory, this is the textbook dose, and you can use that if you like. And it will also show you if you've got any saved doses for the drug, it'll show you down the bottom. And you can also add a preferred dose here. So say we wanted to add, I'm probably doing a repeat here, but say we wanted to add something like this, you can pick whatever species it's for. Maybe this one's for a mouse. And you can pick the species group, how long you usually prescribe it for, and how many times a day you normally give the drug. And that'll pop up under here. So you get your list of all your different doses. When you're ready to actually prescribe the dose, you can click the prescribe the dose button. So let's use one that I've already got. And that'll take you to this dose calculator page. So on this page, you can fill in the weight of the patient. So say we've got a 15-kilo dog, and then you put in the concentration of your drug. So say we're using like a 50 mg per mil. And then we can adjust how much we want. So when we're picking drug ranges, there's often a range that you can prescribe in like the actual dose, the mg per kg dose. So I really wanted to have this range slider here so you could visualize where you're going in the range. And I like that it has a label down the bottom. Sometimes if you've put in like a high and a low, it'll label the top and the bottom of the range slider with this is your high dose, this is your low dose. So you can see where you're going in the range. And as you adjust it, the syringe will fill up, which took me so long, but I'm so proud of it. So say you don't have liquid of this drug, or say you want to send it home with a tablet because that would be easier, you can select tablets instead. And then once you've selected that, it will ask you how you can divide the tablets. So some tablets can only be given whole, like capsules. Or you maybe want to halve it, or maybe you can even quarter it to get a more accurate dose. So let's do the quarter because it's the most fun. So when you're quartering it, you can also use the range slider and see where you're going in the dose, but you can also better visualize how much you're actually giving. So I really wanted this feature because when I was working in practice, it was as trivial as it seems, it's sometimes really hard to on the fly just imagine, oh, it's 1.25 tablets. Like I always have to get my calculator out and divide it all up. And I really just wanted to see how many tablets, or if I divided it, if that would make it a more accurate dose. So this was a really important feature for me to add. And it will tell you down the bottom how many tablets you need to give. So let's give the recommended dose. And you can also see that it will round up and down depending. So I think that would be very helpful for vets. So then you jump down to here, and if you've already saved a frequency and a duration, how long you want to give the drug for, then it'll come pre-filled in. But otherwise, if you haven't saved these preferences, it'll be empty like it is here. And you can change how many times a day you want to give it. So these are just some medical acronyms. This just means once a day. This one means twice a day. So let's maybe go with twice a day. Or you can give it like a custom amount, or 8 hours, or maybe every 2 hours, and it'll change depending. And then you pick how long you want to give the drug for. So maybe we want to give this one for, let's say, 12 days. And that's the end of the form. But as you can see down the bottom here, you've got a drug label that has been updating itself the whole time. So whenever you change any one of these preferences, this drug label will change down the bottom. And I really wanted this feature because when I would like write my drug labels, I would always be so paranoid that I was forgetting some piece of information. So I really wanted this on here. Also, another feature of this that I love is the total. So I would often by accident like send patients home with not enough and they'd have to come back to the clinic. Just those little miscalculations are easy to happen. So I really wanted this just total 54 tablets, send that home. So once you've got the drug label, what if there's something else you wanted to add to this? Say, what if you had to give these tablets with food? So easy enough, you can just double click or press the edit button, and you can just add in whatever else you need. So give with food, and then you can save that. When you're happy with the drug label, you can text it to the client. I really wanted this feature because in my own experience, when I've had like medication with a label on it, I'm pretty clumsy and sometimes like drop it in water, or over time the label would fade and I wouldn't be able to read it anymore. So I felt it was really important to actually be able to text the instructions directly to the client, so they're not having to make out some smudged words, or they don't have to worry about accidentally throwing out the box and that had the instructions on it. So this way they'll always get it. And this uses the Twilio API to send the text message. I won't write it in here because everyone will have my phone number then. But yeah, this works really well. The Twilio API was super easy to implement. I was very impressed. So that's basically the drug functionality of it all. That was the main feature that I wanted to build with this app. But then I got to thinking, I really wanted to, for my engineering skills, wanted to make a social media website. And then I thought, hey, that would actually be really useful for vets as well. We're constantly on the phone with our colleagues or with specialists, asking them what doses they prefer to use. Often the textbooks come with huge ranges, and you're really not sure where to go within that range, or if there's even a better dose to use. So I thought it would be really helpful to have a social media aspect to this app. That way, if you know of someone who's a specialist in something, or if you just want to ask your boss, you can go to their profile, see what doses they prefer, and just use those. So most of my users are my pets at the moment, but you can search through them. I'm hoping to add the functionality where you can add like a specialty or a special interest, and then you can search based on special interests. When you see someone you like, let's go to my horse again, you can add them to you can follow and unfollow them. And that way you can have like easy access to them. You'll see on my profile, you can access whoever I'm following and then easily get to their profile from here. So the other feature that I really wanted to build, this was mainly an engineering thing that I wanted to do rather than a vet thing, but I feel like it would be helpful to have the message utility anyway, just to get confirmation on drug doses or extra advice. And that is my message system. So we can go have a look at that. This uses WebSockets, which is something we didn't learn about in class, but I really wanted to try out. And that's the Hackbright has been really good for being supportive of whatever the hell we want to do. So I was really happy that I got to implement this. It was not easy, but I'm so proud of it now. So this is the messaging system. I also gave it a infinite scroll, which is using Ajax requests, which is basically the front end talking to the server, and database queries. So every time you see this little loading screen, the front end is talking to the server, asking for the next 10 messages, and that's what you get loading up on your screen as you go. So that was a cool feature of that. And then this messaging system, you can talk to each other. I guess I should have fired up I can fire up my login on my other laptop to demonstrate this if you like. Do you want me to do that?
I mean, I think I can see the example pretty well as it is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you can just send messages on here. When you have someone else sending you a message, you get a little message. I don't have any new messages at the moment, but you do get like a little message unseen icon up here, and you can go to your messages page and you can see like who you've got conversations started with and whose messages, how many messages you've seen or haven't seen. So I've unfortunately looked at all my messages today. But yes, I think that's basically the whole app. And you can upload a new profile picture as well, I suppose. So say if we wanted to do, say if I wanted to change my picture to this picture of a dog, we could do that. And then your profile picture is a dog. But that's pretty much everything.
Wow, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, my sister's a vet, so I'm definitely going to tell her about this. I think she will be like super interested. And I love how many features you've got on there. It's like it's like a fully functional, like really, full of all different features. It's awesome. Well done.
Thank you.
So you mentioned a couple of the like APIs and things you use, but can you tell me a little bit more about the technologies that you use to build it?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess the big ones was Socket.io was a massive one. That was how I built the messaging system. So I used Flask Socket.io for that. I used the Twilio API to do the text messaging. I used React was another big one. So that calculator page that you saw, that's all built in React. That's how I get the updating. Everything's tied in together. So the label updates according to the rest of the form, the syringe animation updates according to the form, and so do the tablet animations. So that's how I got that working. What else did I use? The syringe animation works with a library called Anime.js and some Lodash things too, and CSS clip bars, which are very cool. What else do I have? And then I really wanted to try like a bunch of different technologies with this. So it's kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of different things. I use JQuery a bit, and I've mixed up my Ajax requests from like vanilla JavaScript to JQuery. And then Bootstrap is what I use to make it look the way it does. And Amazon S3 buckets for storing the photos as well. I think that's it. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I loved the syringe and tablet animations.
I had a lot of fun making those.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so were all of those technologies you mentioned covered in the Hackbright curriculum, or did you have to teach yourself some of them to build this?
No, I taught myself a lot of them. So I tried to cover like the Hackbright curriculum by using, like I use a Postgres database, Flask server, Bootstrap we got taught as well. So I tried to use the things that we learned in Hackbright, but I also wanted to challenge myself as well. So like the sockets, we didn't learn about those. We didn't learn about any of the animation libraries or like the try data structure that I used to build the search bars. That was all kind of me straying and wanting to just challenge myself and learn some more things.
That's awesome. And so were you working kind of by yourself most of the time on this project, and how long did it take you?
Yeah, so we all work individually on these projects, and we work on them maybe about 6 hours a day at Hackbright, and then everyone works a different amount at home. I worked a fair bit after school just because when I get addicted to something, I really, really get addicted to something, and I couldn't really put it down. But everyone has different amounts of how much they want to work on things.
What would you say would be the biggest challenge that you had while building the project?
Yeah, man, there was a few. Probably the biggest challenge, which was my most recent one, was actually deploying the website. So we learned how to deploy it in class, and that worked perfectly fine for most of my website. But because I use the WebSockets, that involves communicating via a different protocol. So they completely broke. And then I tried to add, rather than having HTTP, which had like all this site is insecure written all over it, I wanted HTTPS. So when I added that to it as well, it made it even harder. So that was definitely my biggest challenge. It took me 3 days of solid just reading about everything. I just scoured the internet for 3 days, and I really thought I wasn't going to get it working. But it worked in the end. That's the great thing about software engineering is I think if you're persistent enough, you can achieve anything, it seems.
Oh, well done for persevering. That sounds really hard. And so what are your plans for the future of the project? Like, are you going to keep working on it? Are there other features you want to add or improve?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely going to keep working on this. The next things, before it can even be given to vets to actually start using, I have to change it so there's real drug doses in the textbook. So that's going to be my number one thing. You can't delete accounts right now, so that's going to be another thing. And making it mobile responsive, I feel like it's really important. Vets are, especially large animal vets, are on the road all the time. You really need something on your phone that looks good on your phone and it's easy to use like that. So those are the three major things I'm going to be working on next. And I'm definitely hoping to release this project. It's something that I would have really appreciated, and I hope that it'll be helpful to other vets too.
That's awesome. Congrats. It's so cool. Cool. Yay. Well, thanks for showing me that. It's awesome. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So overall, how important do you think it is that you were able to work on a project like this? Like, do you think it's going to be helpful in your kind of next career steps?
Absolutely. I think the project was key in making me even feel like I could be a software engineer. Before being forced to work on a project, everything just seemed impossible. And honestly, when I thought of the idea for the project, I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this. This sounds way too hard for anything that I've ever done and whatever I can accomplish. So I think it was extremely important just in showing me that I can actually build something and teaching me how to build something.
That's really cool. And you did already mention a little bit about that you're in kind of the career week right now. And I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about that and how Hackbright is kind of preparing you and the other students for the job search.
Yeah, for sure. So we're having like a bunch of guest lecturers coming in. They're teaching us about salary negotiation, teaching us about what questions to ask in an interview so we can get a job that we really like, that's a good fit for us rather than just a job. They're also going through a lot of like practice interview questions with us, with programming. The interviews are very technical and kind of nerve-wracking. So they're really walking us through the different kinds of questions that we might get asked. We're practicing those with other students on whiteboards, on computers. So they're really just, and then we have lectures on other types of interviews as well. Sometimes you get like take-home interviews. So they've given us some practice ones of those. So yeah, there's still more coming. I'm sure the more coming will be great too.
That's awesome. And so what are your own plans when you graduate? I mean, apart from launching your VetCalc app.
Yeah, my number one priority when I graduate will be studying for interviews and looking for a job. I really want to work somewhere that is supportive, great culture, and is going to help me learn as quickly as I can. Yeah, so job searching, and hopefully on the side, once I've got a job, launching the app for real would be great too.
Awesome. And do you think you might want to try and get a job in a role that's kind of in a similar industry to like vet or medicine or anything like that, like combining your experiences?
Yeah, that would be fantastic if I could find a really good fit with that background. I think the most important thing to me right now is the people that I work with, and I think I'm gonna worry about the mission of the actual company maybe later in my career. But that would be a great cherry on top.
That makes sense, to like focus on like learning and improving your skills and working with good people. Yeah, nice. And so what's your advice to other people who are thinking about doing a coding bootcamp like Hackbright?
Yeah. Definitely for me, it was the right decision. I think before Hackbright, I was very slow in my learning. I thought I couldn't do a lot of things, and Hackbright showed me that I could. They're really good in giving you something hard and just being like, you can do it, and then you actually do, and it's amazing. So I think the boot camp has been invaluable to filling the gaps and the holes that I couldn't get to when I was trying to learn by myself. So depending on your learning style, I guess, yeah, for my learning style, it was absolutely the right decision. I couldn't have learned as quickly as I have or built what I've built without the bootcamp. I don't think it would have taken me, I don't know, 3 years.
That's awesome. Well, those are all of my questions now. Is there anything else that you wanted to add about your experience or about Hackbright or about your project?
No, I don't think so. I think that was pretty thorough.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stacey, for making time to join me on this call and for showing us your amazing project. All the best for your future. Hope you find an amazing job. I hope you can launch the app, and I'll definitely tell my sister about it. Maybe start some like marketing.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for your time, Imogen. I really appreciate it.